Welcome to the backbone of modern transport. These trucks didn't follow trends. They created them. Built in steel, tested by distance, they still set the standard today. This isn't history. It's authority on wheels. Number 1. Mercedes-Benz Actros. When people talk about modern European trucking, the Mercedes-Benz Actros is usually the first name that comes to mind. Since its introduction in the mid-1990s, the Actros has continuously redefined what a long-haul heavy truck should be. It is not just a vehicle, it is a benchmark that competitors measure themselves against. Across Europe, from Spain's sun-baked highways to Scandinavia's frozen freight corridors, the Actros has become a symbol of reliability, comfort, and technological leadership. The core strength of the Actros lies in how Mercedes-Benz blends engineering precision with real-world operational needs. Long-distance transport in Europe is demanding. Drivers spend days away from home, cross multiple borders, deal with strict emissions laws, toll systems, and fuel economy pressures. The Actros was designed specifically for this environment. Its cab options, especially in the Actros L range, focus heavily on driver well-being. Flat floors, tall rooflines, wide beds, and quiet interiors transform the cab into a mobile living space. This is not luxury for its own sake. It directly reduces fatigue, improves alertness, and keeps professional drivers productive over long periods. Technologically, the Actros set new standards by integrating digital systems deeply into truck operation. Features such as predictive powertrain control analyze GPS data and terrain in real time, adjusting gear shifts and throttle input before the truck even reaches a hill. Instead of reacting to slopes, the truck anticipates them. Over hundreds of thousands of kilometers per year, these small optimizations translate into significant fuel savings. For fleet owners, this means lower operating costs. For the industry, it raises expectations of what efficient truly means. Safety is another area where the Actros defines heavy transport. European regulations already demand high safety standards, yet Mercedes consistently goes beyond the minimum. Systems like active brake assist, lane keeping support, attention monitoring, and adaptive cruise control turn the Actros into a rolling safety net. In dense European traffic, where highways mix cars, buses, motorcycles, and trucks at high speeds, these systems prevent accidents that once seemed unavoidable. Over time, what begins as an innovation in the Actros becomes the industry norm, proving its role as a trendsetter. The Actros also represents Europe's transition toward connected and semi-autonomous logistics. Fleet managers can monitor vehicle health, driver behavior, and route efficiency remotely. Maintenance becomes predictive rather than reactive, reducing downtime and unexpected failures. In a continent where logistics chains are tightly scheduled and margins are thin, this level of control is transformative. What truly makes the Actros define heavy transport is not a single feature, but its role as a reference point. When a new Actros generation launches, the entire industry reacts. Competitors study its aerodynamics, cab layout, digital interfaces, and drivetrain strategies. Over decades, it has shaped expectations of comfort, efficiency, and safety in European long-haul trucking. Even operators who never buy one still benefit because the Actros forces everyone else to evolve. In that sense, the Mercedes-Benz Actros is not merely a truck, it is the framework around which modern European heavy transport is built. Number 2. Volvo FH. The Volvo FH family represents a uniquely Scandinavian philosophy of heavy transport, absolute respect for safety, deep focus on ergonomics, and a relentless drive for efficiency without sacrificing power. Since its debut in the 1990s, the FH has become one of the most widely respected long-haul trucks in Europe, trusted by operators who haul everything from light palletized freight to maximum-weight international loads. What sets the Volvo FH apart is its ability to serve both ends of the heavy-haul spectrum. On one side, it is refined and comfortable enough for high-mileage motorway work. On the other, especially in FH16 form, it offers the muscle required for extreme loads. The FH16 variants are famous for their massive torque outputs, designed for mountainous regions and heavy combinations where maintaining momentum is critical. Yet even these high-power models are engineered with fuel efficiency in mind. Volvo's I-Shift transmission is not simply an automatic gearbox, it is a fully integrated drivetrain management system that optimizes every shift based on load, gradient, and driving conditions. Driver comfort has always been central to the FH's identity. The cab is designed around the human body rather than machinery. Seating positions. Steering ergonomics, visibility angles, and interior storage are all optimized for long hours behind the wheel. Volvo's dynamic steering system reduces physical strain by compensating for road imperfections and crosswinds, making the truck feel lighter and more controllable than its size suggests. Over a long career, this reduces fatigue and even long-term injury among drivers, a factor increasingly important as Europe faces driver shortages. Safety is where Volvo's influence becomes cultural rather than merely technical. The company's global reputation for safety extends directly into the FH. Advanced collision avoidance systems, pedestrian detection, adaptive cruise control, and stability management transform the truck into an active participant in accident prevention. In European traffic conditions, tight lanes, frequent construction zones, and mixed urban highway environments, these systems are not optional luxuries, they are essential tools. Volvo also shaped how the industry thinks about uptime. The FH is designed for continuous operation across borders, climates, and load types. Service intervals, component durability, and remote diagnostics ensure that the truck spends more time moving freight and less time in workshops. For international operators, this reliability becomes a competitive advantage. The FH's true legacy lies in how it proves that power and responsibility can coexist. It demonstrates that a truck can haul enormous weights, climb steep gradients, and still meet strict European emission standards while protecting drivers and other road users. By making this balance normal rather than exceptional, the Volvo FH has permanently raised the bar for what a heavy truck should deliver. Number 3. Scania S-series and V8 models. Scania occupies a special place in European trucking culture. More than any other brand, it has built an emotional connection with drivers, and nowhere is this more visible than in the S-series and its legendary V8 variants. These trucks are not just tools, they are symbols of pride, professionalism, and mechanical excellence. For decades, Scania has cultivated the idea that a truck should feel like it belongs to its driver, and the S-series is the purest expression of that philosophy. The S-series introduced a flat-floor cab, eliminating the engine tunnel and giving drivers a truly level living space. This might sound minor, but in long-haul life it is revolutionary. Moving freely inside the cab, standing upright, and having a home-like interior transforms multi-day journeys. Scania designed the S-series not only as a workplace but as a living environment, acknowledging that European drivers often spend more time in their truck than in their homes during the week. What elevates the S-series into legend, however, is the V8 lineage. Scania's V8 engines have been part of European trucking identity since the 1960s. In modern form, these engines deliver immense torque and horsepower while meeting stringent emissions regulations. The contemporary V8 models, including the 770 HP variants, represent the peak of road-legal European trucking power. These trucks are chosen for the heaviest loads, the steepest routes, and the most demanding schedules. Yet Scania's genius lies in making this power usable. The OptiCruise transmission, engine management software, and chassis tuning ensure that even extreme output feels smooth and controlled. Drivers do not fight the machine, they cooperate with it. This relationship between human and truck is why Scania commands such loyalty. Operators often stay with the brand for decades, and drivers proudly personalize their trucks, turning them into moving identities. Beyond culture, the S-series influences the industry structurally. It proves that maximum power does not have to mean inefficiency or discomfort. It shows that a high-horsepower truck can still be refined, economical, and compliant with modern standards. In doing so, it changes how fleets think about specification. Power becomes a strategic tool rather than an indulgence. The Scania S-series and its V8 variants define the emotional and mechanical upper limit of European heavy transport. They remind the industry that trucking is not only logistics, it is a profession, a lifestyle, and for many, a passion. Number 4. MAN TGX. The MAN TGX represents the pragmatic heart of European heavy transport. While some trucks aim to impress with dramatic power figures or luxury cabins, the TGX focuses on what truly matters to large fleets: efficiency, durability, and predictable performance. It is a truck designed not for individual glory but for industrial scale, thousands of vehicles moving in coordinated systems across the continent. European logistics is built on precision. Supermarkets, factories, ports, and distribution centers rely on just-in-time delivery. In this environment, a truck's value is measured by how consistently it performs. how cheaply it operates, and how little attention it demands. The TGX was engineered specifically for this reality. Its drivetrain emphasizes fuel efficiency under heavy loads, and its automated transmission is tuned to minimize wear while keeping the engine in its optimal range. The cab of the TGX is shaped by ergonomics rather than extravagance. Everything is positioned for clarity and ease of use. Controls are intuitive, displays are readable in all lighting conditions, and visibility is optimized for crowded depots and urban delivery zones. For drivers who operate on tight schedules and repetitive routes, this design reduces stress and mistakes. Over time, this translates into safer operations and higher productivity. MAN's philosophy extends beyond the vehicle itself into how it integrates with fleet management. TGX models are built to connect seamlessly with digital monitoring systems. Fuel consumption, maintenance needs, and driving behavior can be tracked in real time. This transforms fleet management from reactive problem-solving into proactive optimization. Instead of waiting for breakdowns, operators can schedule service before failures occur. Instead of guessing about fuel efficiency, they can measure and improve it. In many ways, the TGX defines the industrial backbone of European trucking. It is the type of vehicle that keeps supermarket shelves full, factories supplied, and ports moving. It may not inspire the same emotional response as a Scania V8, but it shapes the daily reality of transport more directly. Thousands of TGX trucks, running quietly and efficiently across Europe, demonstrate what modern heavy transport truly requires: reliability, economy, and integration into a digital logistics ecosystem. By embodying these values, the MAN TGX defines heavy transport, not as spectacle, but as a disciplined, engineered system. It shows that the future of trucking is not only about power or prestige, but about consistency and control at continental scale. Number 5. DF-XF. The DF-XF has earned its reputation not through spectacle, but through relentless efficiency. In European trucking, where profit margins are often razor-thin and fuel is one of the largest operating costs, the XF became a favorite precisely because it turns kilometers into profit. For decades, DF has focused on refining aerodynamics, drivetrain efficiency, and cab usability, and the XF stands as the purest expression of that mission. What defines the XF is its role as the workhorse of Europe. It is the truck seen in massive numbers on motorways, from the Netherlands to Italy, hauling curtain-siders, reefers, and containers across borders day and night. Operators choose the XF because it is predictable. It starts every morning, runs smoothly for hundreds of thousands of kilometers, and returns consistent fuel figures regardless of terrain or load profile. In an industry built on planning and scheduling, that predictability is priceless. DF's engineering approach is rooted in aerodynamic optimization. The XF's cab shape, roof contours, side skirts, and integrated deflectors are designed as a unified airflow system. In the latest generations, even the position of the windshield and door frames was reshaped to reduce drag. These are not cosmetic changes. At highway speeds, small reductions in air resistance translate into measurable fuel savings over the life of the vehicle. Across a fleet of hundreds, this becomes a strategic advantage. The XF's Packer engines are tuned for torque at low engine speeds, allowing the truck to cruise efficiently without constant downshifting. Combined with automated transmissions optimized for European motorway profiles, the XF maintains steady momentum with minimal fuel waste. This makes it especially effective for long, flat routes across countries like Germany, France, and Poland, where consistency matters more than brute power. Driver experience in the XF is defined by clarity and calm. The cab is spacious, well-insulated, and logically arranged. Visibility is excellent, helping drivers navigate busy logistics hubs and urban delivery zones. The interior emphasizes rest quality, recognizing that long-haul drivers are human beings first and operators second. Good sleep directly impacts safety and productivity, and DF builds this into the design. The XF defines heavy transport in a subtle but profound way. It demonstrates that the true hero of logistics is not always the most powerful truck, but the one that quietly does its job better than anyone else, every single day. By turning efficiency into an identity, the DF XF shaped how Europe measures success in long-haul trucking. Number 6. Iveco S-Way. The Iveco S-Way represents the transformation of a traditional European manufacturer into a modern, globally competitive force. Built on the legacy of the Stralis, the S-Way was designed to reposition Iveco in the heart of long-haul transport by focusing on what European fleets care about most: operating cost, driver retention, and compliance with evolving regulations. Historically, Iveco appealed strongly to cost-conscious operators. The S-Way builds on that reputation but adds a new layer of sophistication. Its redesigned cab improves aerodynamics significantly, reducing drag and therefore fuel consumption. Unlike earlier generations, where efficiency gains often came at the expense of comfort, the S-Way integrates both. The interior is brighter, quieter, and more spacious, recognizing that modern logistics depends on attracting and retaining professional drivers in a competitive labor market. Under the skin, the S-Way focuses on drivetrain optimization. Engines are calibrated for low fuel burn under sustained loads, and transmissions are designed to minimize unnecessary gear changes. Iveco emphasizes real-world efficiency rather than laboratory numbers, tailoring performance to long motorway stretches and cross-border routes typical of European freight. The S-Way is also deeply connected. Telematic systems allow operators to monitor fuel usage, driving style, and maintenance needs remotely. This digital layer transforms the truck into a data-generating asset. Fleets can identify inefficiencies, coach drivers, and prevent breakdowns before they occur. In modern European logistics, where delays ripple through entire supply chains, this level of insight is critical. Safety and compliance play a central role in the S-Way's identity. Advanced braking systems, lane support, and adaptive cruise control help operators meet regulatory requirements while reducing accident risk. In dense European traffic, this is not optional. It is essential for survival in competitive markets. What makes the S-Way define heavy transport is its democratization of modern trucking. It brings advanced features, comfort, and efficiency to operators who may not run premium fleets. It proves that innovation is not reserved for the most expensive brands. By doing so, Iveco ensures that modern standards spread across the entire industry, not just its upper tier. The S-Way stands as a bridge between tradition and future, showing how European heavy transport evolves without losing its economic realism. Number 7. Renault Trucks. The Renault Trucks T range represents a distinctly European way of thinking about heavy transport. Every kilometer must justify itself. In a continent where toll roads, fuel taxes, and environmental regulations constantly shape operating costs, the T is engineered to reduce waste in every form: fuel, time, and driver energy. It does not chase extreme horsepower figures or luxury for its own sake. Instead, it defines heavy transport as an optimized system where aerodynamics, driveline efficiency, and operational simplicity work together. From the outside, the T's cab shape immediately reveals its purpose. The roofline, integrated wind deflectors, extended fairings, and smooth front surfaces are all engineered to control airflow. At highway speeds, air resistance becomes the dominant force acting on a truck. Renault's design philosophy treats the truck as a moving aerodynamic structure rather than a simple box on wheels. Over hundreds of thousands of kilometers per year, even a small reduction in drag results in thousands of liters of fuel saved. The T's drivetrain is calibrated for steady, efficient cruising. Engines are tuned to deliver usable torque at low revolutions, allowing the truck to maintain speed without aggressive throttle input. Automated transmissions are programmed to avoid unnecessary gear changes, preserving momentum and reducing mechanical wear. This approach suits European long-haul operations, where routes often involve extended motorway runs punctuated by urban delivery zones and border crossings. Inside the cab, the T reflects Renault's focus on functional comfort. Everything is designed around the working driver. Storage is practical, the sleeping area is quiet and well-insulated, and the driving position emphasizes visibility and control. The goal is not to impress, but to sustain performance over long shifts and multi-day trips. By reducing fatigue, the T directly contributes to safety and consistency. Renault also integrates the T deeply into fleet ecosystems. Telematics and remote diagnostics allow operators to track performance, plan maintenance, and coach drivers toward more efficient habits. This turns each truck into a measurable unit within a broader logistics network. In European freight, where delays can cascade through supply chains, this predictability becomes a competitive advantage. The Renault Trucks T defines heavy transport as a discipline rather than a spectacle. It shows that success in modern logistics comes from minimizing friction between air and body, between engine and load, between driver and machine. In doing so, it shapes a vision of trucking where efficiency is not a feature, but the foundation. Number 8. Mercedes-Benz Arocs. While long-haul trucks dominate highways, Europe's heavy transport would collapse without vehicles capable of surviving the harshest environments: quarries, construction sites, infrastructure projects, and heavy industrial zones. The Mercedes-Benz Arocs defines this side of heavy transport. It is built not just to move loads, but to endure abuse, uneven terrain, constant vibration, extreme weights, and relentless duty cycles. The Arocs is engineered around structural strength. Its frame, suspension options, and axle configurations are designed to carry heavy bodies such as dump beds, concrete mixers, and specialized equipment. In SLT, Schwerlast transport configurations, the Arocs becomes a road-legal heavy-haul tractor capable of moving extraordinary loads such as bridge segments, turbines, and industrial modules. These missions demand not only power, but stability and durability under forces that would quickly destroy conventional long-haul tractors. Powertrain options in the Arocs are tuned for torque delivery at low speeds. Construction and heavy lift operations often take place far from smooth highways. Trucks must crawl through mud, gravel, and inclines while carrying immense weight. The Arocs is built to maintain control under these conditions. Locking differentials, heavy-duty driveline components, and specialized transmission programming allow it to move loads that would immobilize ordinary road trucks. Yet the Arocs is not isolated from modern technology. It incorporates the same digital and safety systems that define Mercedes' road-focused models. Driver assistance features help prevent accidents in chaotic work environments. Telematics allow operators to track wear, usage, and maintenance needs. This integration ensures that even the most rugged machines remain part of a modern logistics network. The Arocs defines heavy transport at its physical limits. It represents the boundary between road haulage and industrial engineering. Where highways end and projects begin, the Arocs carries Europe's infrastructure forward, literally. Bridges, tunnels, wind farms, and urban megaprojects all depend on trucks that can operate under extreme stress. By embodying this role, the Arocs defines heavy transport as more than logistics. It becomes a tool of civilization. Number 9. Scania S-series V8. The Scania 770S V8 represents the apex of European road-legal trucking. It is not designed for average freight. It exists for the heaviest loads, the steepest routes, and the operators who require absolute authority over mass and terrain. In a regulatory environment defined by emissions limits and efficiency targets, producing such a machine is an engineering statement. Extreme power can still coexist with modern standards. The 770 delivers immense torque, allowing heavy combinations to maintain momentum on gradients that would slow lesser trucks to a crawl. In regions with mountainous terrain such as Scandinavia, the Alps, and parts of Eastern Europe, this capability is not about prestige. It is operational necessity. Maintaining speed with heavy loads reduces journey times, fuel waste, and mechanical stress caused by constant downshifting. What makes the 770s transformative is how controlled this power feels. Advanced engine management, gearbox integration, and traction systems ensure that output is delivered smoothly. Drivers are not fighting brute force, they are directing it. This refinement changes the nature of high-power trucking from a struggle into a partnership between human and machine. Culturally, the 770 has become a symbol. It represents mastery of the craft. Drivers who operate such machines are often specialists, trusted with extreme loads and complex routes. The truck becomes an extension of professional identity. This emotional dimension influences the industry, reminding manufacturers that trucking is not only about logistics, but about human pride and expertise. By existing at the top of what is legally and technically possible, the Scania 770S defines the horizon of heavy transport. It shows how far engineering can push the boundaries while remaining within regulatory frameworks. Every innovation at this level eventually filters down into mainstream trucks, shaping the future of the entire sector. Number 10. Tatra 8115. The Tatra 815 stands apart from every other truck in this list because it redefines what a road truck even means. Instead of a conventional ladder frame, it uses a central backbone tube with independently suspended half-axles. This architecture allows the vehicle to maintain traction and stability on terrain that would defeat traditional designs. It is a truck conceived not for highways but for environments where roads barely exist. Tatra trucks operate in mines, oil fields, disaster zones, and remote construction sites. They haul heavy loads across mud, snow, sand, and rock. Where most European trucks are optimized for asphalt, the Tatra is optimized for reality beyond infrastructure. This makes it indispensable in regions where logistics must precede development. The 815's design prioritizes durability above all else. Components are shielded within the backbone structure, reducing exposure to damage. Independent suspension allows wheels to follow uneven ground while keeping the chassis stable. This combination delivers mobility under load in conditions that would immobilize ordinary trucks. Yet the Tatra is not obsolete or primitive. Modern variants integrate contemporary engines, transmissions, and safety systems. The concept evolves while preserving its core architecture. This continuity proves the validity of the original design philosophy, that heavy transport must sometimes adapt to the world rather than reshape it. The Tatra 8115 defines heavy transport in its most elemental form. It represents the ability to move mass where infrastructure has failed or never existed. In doing so, it expands the meaning of logistics beyond highways and depots. It reminds the industry that transport is ultimately about connecting the unreachable, and that true heavy trucking begins where roads end. These trucks didn't just haul freight, they shaped an industry. Every modern rig still walks in their shadow. Technology evolves, legends remain, because true standards never fade.